Today marks the 2-year anniversary since Baby Driver was released in theatres, and yes, there are still video essays being made about it. It's written and directed by Edgar Wright, and if you're around these YouTube spaces watching videos like this, then you'll already know who that is. More people than ever were exposed to his unique editing and comedic styles, but also his attention to detail and carefully constructed symbolism. This is present in a lot of his work, with Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and The World's End in particular having consistent foreshadowing and hidden visual storytelling throughout. Baby Driver is no different. I saw this film a lot in theatres, and while it was fun to pick up on more hidden details every rewatch, I discovered one consistent theme connecting a lot of these details, joining into what felt like this hidden layer between two characters: the protagonist Baby and the final villain Buddy. That got me thinking about how visual details don't have to just complement the story, but show us something completely new. Once I moved past that fun Easter egg spotting phase, I then entered what appeared to be a new realm of reality I couldn't escape from. I'm unsure if this is a video sharing hidden details of a film, or a scientific study on how much someone can rip a film apart before someone gets worried for their health and finally notices this is a fairly obvious cry for help. Oh, and a spoiler warning, I guess. Buddy is not necessarily the antagonist of the entire story. In fact, he's the only criminal who's nice to Baby for most of the film.
That's right, you tell him, baby.
But once Baby disrupts the final heist, his crime wife darling is caught in the crossfire, and blaming Baby, Buddy seeks revenge. There aren't many words spoken, not any evil monologues or heated arguments. Many criticise Buddy being the final antagonist, saying it was just due to the cheap twist and it didn't really work. But the more you pick from this movie, you'll come to realise that Buddy is not only a suitable antagonist for Baby, he's the perfect one. Right when Baby and Buddy meet, they immediately seem to connect. They both seem to have similar upbringings, joyriding cars and listening to killer tracks, joined with similar taste in music. There are other little comparisons too, like when Baby wears a suit to his date, he keeps on a pair of beaten up sneakers to conform with that whole man-child look. But when Buddy falls at the end, he's rocking that same look. That might be a long shot actually. But there'll be a few of those in this video, so you better get used to it. Buddy respects his driving skills and looks out for him, saying not to take another job from Doc.
And baby, you did good, kid. Do me a favor, next time Doc calls, don't pick up.
Even when Baby tries to cut and run before the last heist, Buddy's actually quite caring, even offering him a chance to get out for free.
You're gonna mail it in at the post office tomorrow? Then go on your little caffeine run. And don't come back. If you're just in this for the buzz, if driving is just some kind of escape for you, then go.
But even as we see Buddy move into a violent streak, the parallels to Baby only grow stronger. Let's take their partners for example, with Baby and Deborah matching up with Buddy and Darling. They seem like complete opposite versions of each other, but there are similarities there. Deborah shows that she's fully willing to take part in the action, helping to kill Buddy and ready to T-bone some cops off the road. And while we see Buddy enraged at his wife in danger and going on a killing spree once she's killed, what would Baby do in his place? Face off against an armed psychopath? Shoot a man? Those romantic protective urges are the same. Buddy and Darling are just already deep in the world of crime, with Baby and Deborah on the edges. All of this builds up to one climax when Baby and Buddy face off in an indoor parking lot. Many notice this is foreshadowed earlier on the TV when it says,
"And still the bull stands, bloodied but unrelenting. Gaston is running out of time. He's had his tries from horseback. Now he must try to end this on foot."
Buddy shows up in a cop car, but more specifically a Dodge Charger, with Baby driving a Dodge Challenger. Because while Buddy seems to be this charging bull, that role is challenged. Baby gets out to try and finish this on foot.
We're getting out.
We're getting out?
I have to end this.
But so does Buddy after Baby charges him. In a deleted scene, Baby makes Deborah put on the same Queen track as Buddy to match. And in a draft of the script, they're described as two hard-bitten criminals with dueling cars and stereos. That doesn't sound like a battle between good and evil to me, because that's not what these characters are about. They aren't opposites, just distorted mirrors of each other. Almost literally sometimes, with Baby's scarred forehead mirroring Buddy's nose cut, and even Buddy gets hit in the ear to mirror Baby's hearing injuries. I even think Baby shooting Buddy in the shoulder gets mirrored in this framing, with the gunshot over his opposite shoulder. They clash, swap, charge, get charged, and shoot each other until, eventually, Buddy falls to his death. I'm not saying Baby Driver is the first film to have a protagonist mirroring an antagonist, that's absurd, but I do think it's executed in a really interesting way here because it's inherently visual. It's even audible in the diner scene, with the music rising to this crescendo once Baby and Buddy listen to the same track together, showing their mirroring power. All these details are not vital to the main story or to Baby and Buddy's dynamics and dialogue, but they're still laced within the frame, hiding in plain sight. Edgar Wright says that he meticulously plans all his films, and having worked on the script for roughly 10 years, that work shows. It's not only in this film either, it's shown perfectly by Mike Newman in his video on The World's End, when he sees the film 6 times with a new layer or reading taken from it each time. And once I had seen this film times, I discovered this morale shown between Baby and Buddy's character work. It might be easy to listen to what I've said and think they're the same, but they're not. While Baby has similar urges and drops into a similar world, he understands what I think this whole dueling dynamic is all about, which are choices. Baby robs banks because of a life-threatening debt. He kills bats to save himself and stop the heist from happening. He shoots Buddy to save Deborah and escape, and steals cars to get away. But otherwise, he always chooses against violence and harming others. In fact, he hates it. But those crimes are still crimes, and actions should have consequences. Buddy is essentially Baby if he took those wrong paths and poor choices. That's why this antagonist works. Doc and bats are more threatening, sure, but they're not antagonists. They're an obstacle. Baby's goal in the story is to escape from his criminal life, and Buddy is that version of himself he has to defeat to achieve that. So instead of letting Deborah drive him into the lives of Buddy and Darling, he slams on the brakes and gives himself up. He goes to jail at a reduced sentence because of the kindness he showed to others, and gets a chance to wipe his slate clean. So maybe those hidden visual details aren't just to fuel things you might have missed channels, but to shine a light on a different aspect of the story that wasn't necessarily obvious. With careful planning and some stunning creativity, even the slightest visual quirk can tell us more than any expositional dialogue ever could. Anything within the frame is an opportunity to show something about the character or the world, and this director understands that better than anybody. Edgar Wright's films are enjoyable on the surface level, but he puts in the work to make layers of story available to those that look hard enough. This story showed us that actions not only have consequences, but can shift your life into a completely different path. And if you're making the wrong turns, you're taking the wrong road. But if you own up to your mistakes and protect those around you, you'll not only get a happy ending, but you'll emerge stronger than before. And I think in the current state of the world, stories like these can hopefully inspire human beings to be kind above all, and maybe even make a difference in the world. I hope you enjoyed that video. It was my first ever video essay, so let me know if I crashed and burned horribly or not. It's just been rattling around my head for a couple of years and it really feels amazing to get it out there. I want to make more of these, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. I also make things like short films and I have more videos planned. Make sure to also follow my Twitter at Harry's Late, and I don't know, call me a stupid bastard in the comment section, whatever you people do. See ya!